Hi, I'm Cassidy, and I'm addicted to fantasy romance. I don't know what happened this year, but I drank the Kool-Aid, and I'm still drinking it. I'm obsessed with fantasy romance. I cannot stop reading it. I can't stop finding new books to read, and I figured some of you are probably feeling the same way as me, so I may as well introduce you to my fantasy romance TBR, which feels like it's always growing and never shrinking. Now, I'm not including sequels on this list. There are a few sequels that I'm really excited to read. For example, in the next couple months, the sequels of these come out, and I'm really excited for both of those. I'm just including book ones because if I included every sequel, we would be here for far too long. I told you I have a problem. The first book on my TBR is The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. This is a pirate romance. I've only ever read one pirate romance before, and I liked it. I didn't love it, but I'm excited to try pirate romance again. The tagline on this is "They stole his crown, so he stole their daughter." Vicious? I'm here for it. We're following Eric, who is the scarred king of the Ever Kingdom. He has been trapped, a prisoner in his own realm, and just thinking of revenge for the past however long, when his enemy's daughter comes and unwittingly releases him from this curse and this trapping. He takes her, thinks he's going to put her into his game of revenge, but also it's a fantasy romance, so we all know they're gonna end up falling in love, and I'm really excited to see how that happens, and I'm really excited. I really have heard some pretty good things about this one, so I'm hoping I love it. Next up is The Claw and the Crown by Sarah M. Craddock. This is a bodyguard romance. I repeat, bodyguard romance. Who doesn't love those? Not me, I definitely love them. I also know there is a love triangle in this, so that may throw some people off. We're following our main character who wants nothing more than to leave the island she's stuck on. And she's grown up thinking that this will be okay because everyone has always told her that she's not fit to be a princess. For some reason, on the day of the prince's consort's naming day, her name is spoken, even though the king has always said, "You're unfit." Which means she will now be trapped here, married to the prince as one of his consorts. And although she is childhood friends with the prince, this just feels crushing. This is not what she ever wanted. Still reeling from that news, she meets Drazen, who's fighting for the right to be her personal guard. Attraction blooms, but there's something going on. There's something that's not right. There's some political scheming while our main character figures out what she wants to do, because does she betray her childhood best friend, the prince, that she's now married to go live her dreams, or does she suck it up? But also, her feelings for the bodyguard come into play as well. I think that this is just going to be full of, like, tension, deceit, murder maybe, political schemings. The next one I'm kind of ashamed to say I haven't read yet. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Now, I know this is technically YA, but I feel like anyone who loves romantasy, who loves fantasy romance, has read this and is obsessed with it. Therefore, I would like to be one of these people. In this, we're following Jude, who was whisked away with her sister to the Fae Court when she was quite young. 10 years later, all she wants is to belong in the Fae Court, but the Fae kind of hate humans, especially Prince Carden. In order to win a place in the court, she must defy Prince Carden and face the consequences. And then I just know the level of obsession people have with this book, and I would like that for me. I would like to forget everything that I am and just become this book. Next up on my list is A Dance with the Fae Prince. This is set in a world of standalones, so I guess it kind of is a sequel. It's classified as book 2, but I read book 3 first because it's a series of standalones that happen within the same world, and I really, really liked A Duel with the Vampire Lord, so I wanted to maybe try more within this world because I thought the world building was really cool. Each book follows a different couple in a different place within the world. A Dance with the Fae Prince follows our main character whose hand in marriage is sold, which she's always known, but she did not expect the buyer to be a Fae Prince. She has told herself that she will never fall in love. She's seen what love can do to people, and she does not want that for her, but she would like a life that is happier than what she has now. That's all she's asking for something better than what she's in now. Feelings are off the table, however, the prince makes it kinda hard. She starts to hear things in the middle of the night. Strange things start happening when she accidentally witnesses a ritual and maybe participates in it unknowingly. She's whisked away to Midscape and is hunted by the Fae because there is a ruthless king who wants her magic. However, it happens to be that the Fae prince she married is the rightful heir. He's just been in hiding. So there's that. I don't know, I think that this sounds like a really complex standalone. I'm really excited to read about it because that's what I loved about A Duel with the Vampire Lord. It just felt very vivid and real and well developed in terms of world building and fantasy as well as a romance, and so that's what I'm excited for this one, and I'm hoping I get. Another one that I've heard everyone just running their mouth about, making me want to read, is Lady of Darkness. I really don't know what this book is about. I've just seen all of my friends giving it 4 or 5 stars, and and I would like a 4 or 5 stars. I just read the Goodreads synopsis, and I didn't know that there was vampires in this, and I am a vampire girly through and through. I have a feeling that they're not big characters at all, but like just the idea of them in this world makes me kind of excited. I know we're following a main character who is a trio with her sisters, and they are the most feared trained assassins. They're essentially owned by the master assassin, but when Scarlet, our main character, is sent on a mission, she is given a choice, which would lead her to be able to get her revenge against the Fire Fae Prince. Revenge is a good motive to swap some decisions up. There's also some sort of mystery about children going missing that she wants to help save because she's a good person at heart, like all of these assassin romances. I don't know how you're a deadly assassin and a good person, but in fantasy romance, it just seems to work. There's a lot of people I trust who have been loving this book, so I'm hoping that's me too. Next up is The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. This is a Viking romance. I don't think I've ever read something like it other than maybe A Fate Inked in Blood, but I don't know how comparable those are. I'm a little hesitant because this isn't my typical romantasy, but I'm trying to expand my bubble out of just enemies to lovers. However, I do think that this is reluctant allies to lovers, and that's my favorite niche little trope in romantasy. We follow our main character, Scylla, who's running for her life. When her father dies, he leaves her one last thing to do, to travel the Road of Bones, which is essentially a giant stretch of land where death awaits you at every corner. When she barely makes it through the first wave of the trip, she ends up sneaking into a wagon. The wagon belongs to the Blood Axe crew, and to make it to her destination, she now needs to win over this crew of Vikings while being hunted by the Queen's most ruthless assassin. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I think it sounds really interesting, but again, it's like outside of my normal thing to pick up. I'm definitely more like fae, assassins, vampires than Vikings. Next up is A Crown of Ivy and Glass by Claire Legrand. I haven't heard the best things about this one, but I still wanted to give it a try. I do typically like a political ballroom Regency style romance. The like balls just really get me, and like any dancing scenes, especially if they're like teaching each other how to dance. I love that. It gets me every time when someone doesn't know how to dance. The one's like, I'll teach you, and then they're stepping on each other's feet and they get so close and intimate and they're spilling secrets. Essentially, we're following Gemma, who is part of a royal family, a rich family. They're anointed by the gods, except for Gemma holds a secret. She was not blessed with any magic. Actually, the reverse happens, and she is kind of allergic to it. Her body treats it like poison, so she's constantly sick fighting off the magic that belongs in her blood but can't exist there. Either the rest of her family has abandoned her or is off fighting the Basques, leaving her kind of in charge when she meets the devastatingly handsome Talon de Steer. Seduced by a demon, his family destroyed themselves. Talon's the only survivor and is determined to redeem his family's honor, but he has no idea how to go around court, so these two make a deal. One of them will help the other with court issues, and the other one will help them defeat the demon. The demon is also behind the like feud that her family is facing, so there's like some kind of reason for her to make this deal. A little murky to me, but I'm still interested in it quite a bit. Next up on my list is A Court of Blood and Bindings by Lisette Marshall. Mel just read this, gave it 5 stars. Mel is my most trusted booktuber. Literally, if Mel gives something 5 stars, I need to read it. This one follows a world where fae rule over the humans. There is a person called the Silent Death who is the merciless killer who is fae. And when our main character is caught wielding magic that she's not supposed to wield by the Silent Death, she thinks, it's over for me. But for some reason, he saves her. He takes her off to the place where no human ever comes back from, the Fae courts. And although he's supposed to be the vicious queen's most trusted advisor, he seems to be working against her secretly, and he needs our main character's help and magic in order to put his plan into action. But can she trust him? And better yet, can she trust herself? Because she's starting to feel some things. Honestly, this just has Mel's stamp of approval, and I will read anything with Mel's stamp of approval, so I'm excited to read it. Let's continue with some recommendations I've seen recently. Another booktuber who I really trust is Tori, and Tori recently read and was screaming about The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. So of course, add to TBR happens as soon as I see it. We follow our main character who is fleeing from her father's cruelty. She is heir to the throne, I think, and she is kidnapped by those who are her enemy. She faces death between a rebellion and a tyrant's throne, and she really wants no place in it, but she is kidnapped by those who are her enemy. She's kidnapped by the rebellion. They don't seem to know who she really is, but she really only has one option: to join the rebellion and join their cause. When the rebellion leader becomes torn between his duty to the rebellion because he's suspicious, and his feelings that start to happen. And I'm really intrigued to see where this goes. I think there's going to be a forbidden, reluctant allies to lovers romance, some bantering, and I'm really, really interested in the politics of this and the world building as well. I typically love a like tyrant and heir issue in my fantasy romances. That's something that I can really get behind because it adds to the politics. Next one is A Crown of Earth and Sky by Emberly Ash. This is an Arthurian retelling, I believe, which I haven't read before, so I am intrigued. Vega Pendragon was crowned the Queen of the Elemental Fae after her brother Arthur was murdered. Now, she has never dreamed of being queen. She's actually been raised in secret. Her mother took her away and kind of tortured her because of something that she was never allowed to share. So now the only thing on Vecchia's mind is revenge, because she has no want to be a good ruler. She just wants revenge on the people who killed her brother. That is until her betrothed enters the picture. He is the brutal prince and he despises everything about Vecchia and the fact that she doesn't want to be a good ruler. She just wants revenge. But sparks do fly and I'm excited to see what this means. This is something different, I think, for fantasy romance. I think a lot of the fantasy romance I read falls into a specific type of fantasy romance, so I'm excited that this feels a little bit different with the Arthurian retelling aspect. And the last one on this list is Heir of the Moon by S. Fraser. This is kind of reminding me of The Hunger Games a bit. I mean, really, it just has some kind of killing aspect to it. The trial, it is their duty, a call to cleanse the realm with blood, appease the deities, and maintain order. Every decade, the Isle hosts a competition in which one heir from each of the 3 royal families must lead a clan of warriors in a 100-day battle to the death. I'm sold. The prize is coveted above all else to become ruler of the entire realm for the next 10 years. Now we follow our main character, Cirilla, who never expected to be that heir. She never expected to have to lead the Moon Monarchy into success. But once again, her fate has been decided for her and she must enter in as the champion. Fate will continue to work in mysterious ways, especially when enemies become allies and the trial becomes about much more than simply winning. I'm intrigued. Reluctant allies to lovers, you say? The Earth, forsaken by the deities, the Earth province is on the cusp of ruin. Callahan has much to gain from winning the trial and everything to lose. But when his heart gets involved, the pressure of the trial may prove to be too much for him to handle as one relationship threatens to put everything at risk, including his sanity. The Sun, Sebastian, the soon-to-be king of the Sun Dominion, has something to prove. His nation hasn't won a trial in nearly a century, and while his people are strong, their position in the realm is not. He will do anything to change that, but a twist of fate may force him to reevaluate all his priorities. To win, the champions must kill and outsmart their competitors, even when love and fate threatens to bring them all to their knees. Sorry, I had to read that synopsis. I thought it was really well written, and I really, really, really am excited to try this. It's very unknown. It only has like 142 ratings. It's very small, but I think it sounds good, and so I'm excited to give it a try. Don't be surprised if I'm reading something you didn't see on here, because probably in 2 weeks I will find 4 more that I want to read. I told you it's ever growing. On top of that, I would love any recommendations. If there's any fantasy romance that you have that you think I would like, leave them in the comments below. I have 2 recommendation videos that I will pop on the screen right here for you guys. If you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a moon emoji.